Oh, baby. Yes, 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 yes. And you have to wonder, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Just an appetizer? Just a warm up? You're going to want to tune into this episode to find out. Are we getting the N1 Starfighter? How about another Mandalorian and Grogu, but from the book of Boba Fett? How about the four Inquisitors that Hot Toys just teased and basically said they're doing? How about all five of the Bad Batch that Hot Toys also earlier this year said that they were going to do? How about the second wave for the Attack of the Clones 20th anniversary that Hot Toys also said they were going to do? Are they going to hold up with their promises? And I say we're going to dive into that within this episode for sure. And what's going on at the secondary market with Star Wars Hot Toys? Do I have news on the arena suit Boba Fett? How is that chrome clone trooper with the two helmets doing within the secondary market now? Also, is it still a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What's going on also with this market eclipse in the primary market? Are there going to be more Star Wars action figures that are on pre-order and not due out until 2023 that are going to get a low stock warning like that KX Enforcer droid? I've got the coffee right here, my friends. This house blend of 6 scale Cantina is so good. Let's go ahead and dive into all of this right now. All right, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show, right here at 6 Scale Cantina, soon to be Aries Cantina. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I do so very much appreciate your support. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash that like button. Again, thank you so much for your support. So let's go ahead and get right into what's going on here. And we are certainly going to be talking about this right here, this 3-pack set of these 3 droids. Wow. And we're going to get into this a little bit later within the episode. I think that this actually, we should use these 3 droids as breadcrumbs to be able to see what Hot Toys is going to do in the future for sure. But also, let's first start off at 6scalecantina.com, as we usually do with every episode of the Market Value Chart Show. And if you don't have 6scalecantina.com bookmarked, you just may want to consider doing so. It has all the latest news on 6-Scale Cantina, the latest shows, and also the latest insider shows for those of you that want to become or that are a Cantina insider for expanded thoughts and heightened analysis from the Dark Jedi right here. And also all the latest news on what's going on with Star Wars Hot Toys in the secondary market, in the primary market, trends going down, trends going up, what the trends are if they're steady. 6scalecantina.com, ariescantina.com. Don't forget to bookmark this site. And as you can see, right here on this website for sure, blowing it up, look at that crazy new Aries Cantina logo, which is absolutely awesome. Right here is a 6-Scale Cantina logo. For those of you that want the 2.0 mug before this logo goes live, right here at 6scalecantina.com, You can see right there, showing this up on the screen, right below my video picture. There's the new 2.0 mug. If you have not got a 6-scale Cantina, an Aries Cantina mug, you may want to consider doing this. It's an awesome mug. I have it available in 11 ounce and 15 ounce on Zazzle. They always have a discount code on there. You can check it out. Those of you that do, like me, have this great mug. Is it possible? Written right here. You have to wonder on the other side. You can go pick up this new one like the Dark Jedi is over here. It'll make a great holiday present, a great gag gift, or a great gift for yourself, baby. Again, just go to the website, click on it, I'll take it as Zazzle. And then as you can see before, here is the latest show. Red Alert, right here. I'm sure many of you have watched this. If not, go ahead and check it out. The show you're watching right now is the show after this. And we're going to go ahead and dive into it for sure. Let's go to the biggest mover section, which is the second menu item under the new logo at 6scalecantina.com. And let's take a look at what's happening here. Updated just October 8th. So, some differences. Very, very similar, the same. You can see Leia takes the top spot. Look at that Leia A New Hope. Wow. Look at that Leia Hoth. Wow. Leia Bespin should be in here. Just forgot to put her in. The Chrome Clone Trooper, there's a difference. Had a trend down arrow. Now trending up. And, of course, Han Solo. Dark Side Anakin continues to level off into where it regularly is, around $800. We'll see where that is in the secondary market. Rogue One Vader, wow, continues to be on fire. There's that Boba Fett arena suit now, instead of trending down, starting to trend up. Obi-Wan, forget about it. Anakin regular, forget about it. Any Chewbacca, forget about it. Luke Jedi Knight continues to be a bargain, honestly. Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back, showing signs of breaking out of that downtrend, though. So we could take a look at a little bit of this here. But one of the very interesting things that people ask me all the time, is this a buyer's or seller's market right now? And it is a mixture of both. It was absolutely 1,000% a buyer's market last month. Several weeks ago, for a little bit. Then it was breaking out of it. Right now I see it as a little bit of a hodgepodge, to be quite frank. It's a little bit of both, which indicates to me that with this Andor series going on, with the holidays coming up, and then the Mandalorian Season 3 forthcoming right after the holidays, basically, in February of 2023, that this hodgepodge that you're seeing is not only going to go back to a seller's market, but it's probably going to go through the roof on some of these prices when it comes to Star Wars Hot Toys within the secondary market. Remember last year, going back to the end of 2021, it was absolutely not a buyer's market during the holiday season for Star Wars Hot Toys. There weren't no discounts on Rey and Dio. Okay? There weren't. There weren't no discounts on Han Solo and Chewbacca, whether it was from The Force Awakens or The New Hope. There was no discounts on Hoth Leia. And is it possible that's going to be the same way this holiday season? And I say, yes, it won't be. It'll absolutely be a seller's market. But right now, at this very moment, salute to you and cheers. There are some great bargains to be had where some of these figures within the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys are on the bottom end of the market trend average many times. Of course, when you go and try and get it there, then it goes up to the top end and beyond. But right now, if you hunt, right now, if you exercise some patience, right now, if you're diligent in searching, you will be able to find some really good deals. As in my view, it still leans towards a buyer's market, but it is slowly starting to go back into a seller's market. But not for every figure. Especially when it comes to the original trilogy and some of these legacy figures and characters. for Star Wars and Hot Toys. But let's take a look at what's going on over here. And even though Leia is first on this chart, at least this week at the biggest movers, as 6-scale Cantina, I actually want to talk about the Chrome Clone Trooper and the Arena Suit Boba Fett. Has always a lot of interest right now as to what is going on with those particular figures. So without further ado, let's see where the Arena Fett is. This is the first time in a few weeks where it's actually starting to trend up again. And you can see right here. And, you know, here is a seller, overseas seller. $430 right now. And honestly, it went down, as I was telling you, to the low 400s, even as I was reporting it last week, 425. And then those are over. I mean, really just from October 5th, you see one sold for $407.79. Another one on October 7th sold for $407.79. Quite frankly, a little bit too low, to be honest with you. And that's why you're seeing this price change to about $429.99. You're seeing it change back to $430. And quite frankly, right now, I am seeing this around $430 to $450. And instead of trending down low towards the low 400s, starting to trend up about at 425 and 430 and now beyond, and starting to creep up. So remember, I told you with this figure, I felt like, especially at some point next year, that this would, without a doubt, creep back over the $500 tier range. And as I'm seeing right now, it is absolutely on that track, as I could tell from the market trends that I study and the data that I collect, to be able to breach the $500 tier range once again over the next several months for sure. I think the real question is it possible that this figure will breach the $600 tier range and go to where the animated Boba Fett is? And I say yes. As a matter of fact, I think this will actually surpass where the animated Boba Fett is. If you do a search now on eBay for the Arena Suit Boba Fett, you're not seeing so many on order now. And the reason you're not, as you see this 430 on the screen right here, is quite frankly because, as I mentioned over the last few shows over the last few weeks, U.S. sellers were going to be getting these, European sellers were going to be getting these and putting these up for sale, trying to get that quick $800 smash, $850 smash, $700 smash. Ooh, wow, look, I got Dark Side Anakin, I got 2-pack money for this figure, baby. Wow, wow, wow. And then when they were seeing that wasn't happening, and then when you have to tack in eBay fees or this platform fees, and then you have to tack in PayPal fees, or you have to, put away for taxes, okay. So now all of a sudden, did you get the figure because you wanted the figure? Or did you get the figure because you're looking to make $400 or $425? And now you're seeing it subside. Because a lot of people that have that animated Boba Fett are certainly going to want the other novelty item, which is the Arena Suit Boba Fett. And why you're starting to see even the vintage color Boba Fett in the 40th anniversary packaging starting to trend up as well. Because those are all peas in a pod that, as a collector, or for many collectors, once you start down that path, then you're going to want all of them to complete that novelty collection. So they're all going to go up. Okay? So one of the reasons why, number one, that you're not seeing so many of the Arena Suit now is because collectors have settled down. They realize they want the figure. Not so many are going to be up for sale, and then the true price of what it's worth is going to go up. Is this a grail? Yes, it is, because the animated Fett is a grail, and the animated Fett, there was 8 million times more made of that than this Arena Suit Boba Fett. That's just a fact. So I actually believe the Arena Suit Boba Fett will be sought after more and be worth more than the animated Fett in the long run. So I think that that's what you're seeing here right now with the Arena Suit Boba Fett. For sure, we'll continue to keep an eye on it here at Aries Cantina, 6scalecantina.com. What about the chrome plated clone trooper? So you're starting to see that creep up into getting closer and closer to the $325 tier range with this figure. It trended down, 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 down. You could see here at this auction, this is ongoing. And this has 7 watchers and a really, really great seller. Over 2,050 feedback, all 100% positive. $290 already, not including the $21.50 in shipping. So already at $310, not including taxes. So you do the math on where this is. You know, pulling up another one right now. Pulling this up on the screen. Already a bid here, with the starting bid being at $300. And when a starting bid is at $300, that's really, really tough sometimes to get that. And it shows you there, not including the $9.16 in shipping, not including taxes. This figure is starting to go up as well from where it was. Let's go to the market value chart here at 6scalecantina.com. So instead of going to the biggest movers section, let's go to the third tab, which is the Star Wars Hot Toys market value chart. Let's see where both of these are this week here with this update. I'm going to go ahead and first type in Chrome in that little white search box you see up here on the screen and see exactly where this is. And you could see with this up on the screen here, putting this in so you can see it right below my video. There it is, MMS 643, now $319 and trending up. And as I mentioned in my last update, I believe that this all day long will be anywhere between a $350 to $400 tier range figure. And I believe because this is a chrome trooper, and more specifically that it's a clone trooper that's chrome. And I mentioned this in my last episodes that Hot Toys collectors into Star Wars were waiting for years and years for clones from Hot Toys. So there is a big anticipation for it. This is a big time chrome-plated clone trooper with a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 helmet. And I think it's going to go for more than like your bronze, copper-plated, or porcelain stormtrooper. And that's why I think that this figure will be a $400 tier range figure, a low $400 tier range figure, but a $400 tier range figure in its value in the years to come, for sure. The arena suit Boba Fett, let's go ahead and pull that up here on the screen and see exactly where that is. And putting in arena suit. And here you go, CMS 011 for the comic series, $425 and rising. We're going to be keeping an eye on that for sure as well. So don't forget to keep tuning into all of these episodes. Let's go back to the biggest mover section, which is the second menu item under that logo here you see on the screen at 6scalecantina.com. Let's take a look now at some of these other ones here that we were talking about here in the biggest mover section. So I'm going to give you some examples of some crazy deals you could find right now. And then when you go look now to try and find it, it won't be that way. But it's still a half and half buyers/sellers market right now. So even pulling this up on the screen, and I know everyone's going to go look for a Royal Guard now for $275, because normally they go about almost $500. But sometimes you find stuff like this. You can just see back from October 7th, $275 for a Royal Guard, great seller, 288 feedback, all 100% positive. Wow. Honestly, if I would have tracked this at the time when it was ending, I probably would have bought this myself. So sometimes you're finding stuff like that. I could pull this one up on the screen. I certainly would have pulled the trigger on this one here. Return of the Jedi Fett from October 6th. Wow. Return of the Jedi Boba. $265. 32 bids. Wow. Not including the $25 near in shipping. $290, not including the taxes. Wow. for a ROTJ Fett with a shipper box. Crazy. So right now, when you're talking about on the lower end of the average, sometimes on some figures, there is some opportunities right now with Star Wars Hot Toys for sure. But then again, it's also a big-time seller's market on some figures as I bring up some other ones. And you can look at right here. Here's Luke from A New Hope with still 2 days and 6 hours left. Already up to $380. The kicker being not including the $20 in shipping, which puts this up at $400. Look at this seller. Over 800 feedback. All 100% positive, not including taxes. Well over the $400 mark. And a lot of good pictures here. This is brand new. See picture there. Another picture. Picture. I like when they put in a lot of pictures. I feel like that's really good on these sellers' parts. Let's go to some other ones here. As, we'll pull up. Let's pull up Leia, A New Hope. And one that just ended again. We've been covering a lot of her lately. She's real hot. Just from October 2nd. Wow. $560 again. At a crazy price. Not including the $20 in shipping. Again, fantastic seller. 100% positive feedback. Not including taxes, over $600 for this particular figure. Are you kidding me? Wow. So, very interesting right now in the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. And of course, when you look at Leia all around, no matter which Leia it is, here's Leia Hoth, $550, not including the $20 in shipping. Another great seller, over 160 feedback. All 100% positive. And if you want to go a step further to another Princess Leia, and pulling this up on the screen, here's one that was going to be in the bargain bin, right? 45 bids, $400, not including the near 11 in shipping. Are you kidding me? Wow. I mean, just absolutely insane when it comes. And that Leia is so sweet, as you can see on the screen here. Actually, all the Leias are so sweet. The Dark Jedi, which is me, I'm certainly looking to get my hands on a Hoth Leia. With those prices, it doesn't look like I'm going to get my hands on one anytime soon, baby. But whether it's this gorgeous A New Hope Leia, which you're seeing here, which is off the charts right now with the secondary market, or behind her you see that incredible looking Bespin Leia. Wow. And I love Carrie Fisher and that Last Jedi Leia as well. If you want to become a Cantina Insider, I have several videos that talk about the future of the sequel trilogy legacy characters, like this Leia right here from The Last Jedi, like the Han Solo from The Force Awakens, like the Chewbacca from The Force Awakens, like the Crate Luke from The Last Jedi. And how are those figures going to fare secondary market-wise in the years to come? You just may want to consider joining 6 Scale Cantina, AriesCantina.com as a Cantina Insider, and let the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, right here, baby, blow your mind with data, with trends, projections, and wizardry from the Hot Toys Wizard. Goodness gracious, for sure. Taking a look at some other stuff over here. And look, and then you could take a look at some of these other figures, even from the prequel trilogy. When you talk about, here's an Obi-Wan Deluxe. Okay, and here's an interesting thing about this Obi-Wan Deluxe here, which went for $530 with stuff missing. Okay? Had a piece missing. And when you calculate the outrageous $85 in shipping, it's $530. That's the price that I calculate up on here. Then you can include $25 in shipping. Then you can include taxes. But without shipping, $530. And there's a piece missing. So, and still, that's a lot of money for an incomplete, something that's not complete. So, yes, buyer's market and kind of a seller's market, but it's going to move more towards a seller's market. I think, anyway. We'll have to see. It can go either way. Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith, pulling this up. Again, and not including the $76 in shipping. So $563 here is what you can say for a regular Anakin, not even a dark side. Wow. So, again, these primary characters for Star Wars, very, very deep right now. And if you're looking for a lot of these type of figures, including like these types right here. And in this video, you will see not only the with the Leia, you'll also see my there to the left with my video picture here covering it, the A New Hope Leia. And that A New Hope Leia that you see on the left side of this video, which it'll go ahead and scan back to that, I actually got that from Hawk Wars Toys. Rey at Hawk Wars Toys, this figure right here. You know what kind of, how stomach-wrenching it can be when you're anticipating opening up one of these figures that were put out in the past. Will there be stains in her white outfit? Will there be stains in her boots? It's an older figure. I could tell you from my experience anyway, from dealing with really, really good sellers, and one of the ones that I buy some of the figures off of is Rey at Hawk Wars Toys. And I know, because I was checking out his eBay store this week, and there it is, Hawk Wars Toys. He's got a ton of good stuff up there, baby. If you're looking for the aforementioned Hoth Leia, look at that up on the screen. $590 there. Look, he has a Luke Stormtrooper, a Han Stormtrooper from A New Hope. Another collection that came on here. Look at that. We got a regular Anakin. Wow. We got the Leia and Endor set. We got an Obi-Wan from A New Hope. You got a Han Stormtrooper at a pretty decent price, I believe, there. And you may just want to reach out to him. You can always try and send him a best offer. Tell him you're interested in some stuff. And as I mentioned last week, a lot of these figures in stock like that. Look at that Grogu. Quarter scale Grogu. $150. And that's even cheaper than what's on some sites right now. So don't forget about that. And always check out, in my view, any of these sellers like this. So make sure you tell Ray that Aries sent you Hawk Wars Toys. But any of these great sellers that I put up that have great pictures and great feedback, always feel free to reach out to see what kind of deals you can get. It doesn't hurt to send a message and ask. You can save yourself a few bucks for sure. So my, that's what it's looking like right now in the secondary market for Star Wars Hot Toys. Absolutely crazy. But I know what you want me to talk about on another segment here. Let's move to the next part. And I'm going to put this up onto the screen. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit here as it comes up. And there they are. These droids. Wow. And I'm going to blow this up so that we can talk about it here. And really, this is the first time that I am going to be looking at these prototype pictures is with this recording. I've seen them, and I scanned through it briefly, but I really didn't look like I'm looking right now. But wow. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's pause for coffee. Cheers, my friends. That's it for the cup. Time to get the thermos out. Here we go. Let's take another sip. Nice and warm. The weathering on this R5-D4 is fantastic. The original one in the crypt looked clean. They kind of put weathering on it. It's the same thing. It's R5-D4. They can label it Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, whatever they want to label it. Doesn't really matter. It's R5-D4, and it's coming. Yeah, these droids look cool. So this is very, very nice here. I'm so pumped for this set. These droids look good. I wouldn't expect nothing less from Hot Toys, especially, you know, putting out a droid here. Not any human or alien head sculpts, but these look absolutely phenomenal. I am so blown away at looking at this. Look at those look at those pit droids there with Grogu. That's pretty cool. You could do so much with this. But you have to wonder. You're talking about that we could do so much with this already. What is Hot Toys imagining that we can do so much with this set as well? And as we go ahead and contemplate that in our brains right now, as we wonder about what Hot Toys thinks we can pose this with, and I think you're knowing where I'm going with this, let's also just take a step back for a moment and look at the price. And so much emphasis has been on price lately. Really, for 3 droids and an R5-D4, and you get a pit droid, and you get BD-72, $265. Do I feel like that is a great price? And I say, yes. Absolutely, I think it's a great price. You get 3 droids, and I'm so pumped up that we're getting this for sure. I think it looks great. And just last week, everyone, we got the Cobb Vanth from The Mandalorian Season 2. And of course, you could go ahead and take off the armor like you saw in some of the pictures there, so it looks like Cobb Vanth from the Book of Boba Fett. So kind of plays the same thing. Got Cobb Vanth. Now, all of a sudden, a week later, you get R5-D4 and, you know, this 3 droid pack. And another figure from the crypt. Remember, they teased Cobb Vanth. Seems like a while ago already. And they had it in the coming soon pictures. They teased R5-D4, seems like a century ago. Now that came out with weathering, tagged, the Book of Boba Fett. And you could see everything that has transpired this year since the beginning of this year, 2022. And Hot Toys has come out with a vast array of crazy heat and epicness when it comes to Star Wars. And I really believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg for what is going to happen over the next couple of months for Star Wars and Hot Toys. Forget about next year, because it's going to be insane. But if you go to sixscalecantina.com, and I've updated this part of the website slightly, and we are going to go to the last menu item. We already were at the biggest mover section, which is the second menu item. Then the third menu item, which is the Star Wars Hot Toys market value chart. We were already there. We're going to go to the fourth menu item, Hot Toys Star Wars vs. Marvel pre-orders. And I still have to update this really, but there is one part of this one section that is updated. And I'll blow it up onto the screen. And that is the Star Wars part right under my video that you're seeing here. At least with the Star Wars pre-orders for 2023. And you can see right there, in 2023, with this R5-D4 and Friends pack, that is number 21 in 2023 that is coming out for Star Wars Hot Toys. Cobb Vanth was 20. Reva was 19. Grand Inquisitor was 18, so on and so forth. And remember, I projected that we were going to, at the very least, get 20. And more likely 25, but possibly 30 before the end of the year. Because there just was not a chance that there was going to be less available for Star Wars, as hot as it is, from Hot Toys in 2023 than 2022 and 2021. And that is exactly what you're seeing here with this Cobb Vanth release, with this R5-D4 release, with the Revo release, with the Grand Inquisitor, with the Vader, with the DX Obi-Wan, with the Cad Bane, these are all 2023 releases. And you have to wonder, is it possible that they're done with 2023 and nothing else is going to come out for Star Wars Hot Toys? And I say, no. No. We're going to get up to 22, 23, 24, 25. Is it possible? 26, 27, 28? Let me tell you something right here, what's happening with this. Again, let's bring this up onto the screen. And I love looking at this. There's your N1 Starfighter, the one where it's controversial on if it will come out or if it won't. But there's R5-D4. There's that little droid, the BD, whatever he is. Pit droids. There's another Jawa. There's the Mando. There's Grogu. Let's look at more of this particular item. There's another shot of it. Let's look at more. There's another nice shot of it up there at Sideshow, N1 Starfighter. Do I think that this is going to be something that Hot Toys is going to dive into and test run this with? And make no mistake about it. In my view, we need to stop thinking about this if it is worth it for Hot Toys. We have to stop thinking about this on how are they going to ship it. Are they going to make money off it? How are they going to ship it? Are they going to make money off it? Are they going to make money off it? How are they going to ship it? How are they going to do it? Trust me. Trust the Hot Toys wizard. They've already thought about all the questions you have, all the questions I have, all of these questions for sure, in even a deeper thought process than we have. And I'm telling you right now, they're not going to be doing this for shipping convenience. They're not going to be doing this to make money. They're going to be doing this for making a statement, A, B, getting involved in the market to get their foot in the door. And sometimes when you get your foot in the door, you can't make all the big bucks at once. You want to get on the New York Yankees? Sometimes you have to start at single A, and you're only going to get $15,000 a year. You're hoping to get $5 million, but sometimes you have to start small. Do you get my drift? Hot Toys is a company, and they understand that. And they understand all the concerns I have. They understand all the concerns you have. But that being said, they're going to go to a single A team, and they're going to play baseball with this figure, and they're 1,000%, you heard it right here at Six Scale Cantina, Aries Cantina, going to put this out from a single A baseball perspective, and they're going to see what happens when the ball goes onto the field. And here's the thing. If you don't want it, don't buy it. And that's exactly what they're going to test out with this particular piece. For sure. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, baby. And you're going to get further evidence of that when you see this get officially announced here, as I'm going to put up onto the screen, which is the Mandalorian and Grogu from the book of Boba Fett, which is going to, along with the 3 droids that was just unveiled and officially announced, going to go with what? The N1 Starfighter. And I could tell you from being an original trilogy freakazoid, the real greatness about this N1 Starfighter is you're talking about TIE Fighter. You're talking about an X-Wing. You're talking about some other cool stuff like that. And it's making me spill my coffee, baby. So thank God that this is in a thermos. Thank goodness. And I think we need to keep an eye on that. But now let's get into something else. I do think that the N1 Starfighter is coming. I do think that the Mandalorian and Grogu are coming from the Book of Boba Fett. And it just makes sense that they're going to give this companion piece, the N1 Starfighter, to go with all of this. And they're going to play single A ball. And they're going to see if they can advance to double A or triple A, or maybe even the major leagues when it comes to ships and vehicles of this size within the collecting community. For sure. Now let's go into the final segment of this particular show. Is Hot Toys going to live up to the promises that they made in 2022? And I say yes. They absolutely would not have teased the things that they've teased if they weren't going to come out with them, and come out with them real quick, fast, and in a hurry. They're coming out with some Book of Boba Fett stuff and some Mandalorian stuff. But what has the Hot Toys wizard been telling you all year? They were still going to come out with that stuff. But they were also going to come out with a ton of legacy characters and other stuff. Which is why you got not just one, not just two, not just three, not just four, but 5 just from the Attack of the Clones on May 4th. That's why you got a DX-25 Bespin Luke from The Empire Strikes Back. And exactly why you're going to get the other figures that I'm putting up here onto the screen. Remember, it's all in the data. That Bespin Luke, DX-25, was number 1 for just about almost 6 weeks, while the Doctor Strange movie was in the box office at number 1, and while Moon Knight was on Disney+. And a figure from a movie from 1980 was the number 1 selling hot toy. Not Doctor Strange, not Moon Knight, but the DX-25 Bespin Luke, which has no relevance to anything going on in Disney Plus, really, at the particular moment, except if you want to watch The Empire Strikes Back. So you have to wonder, do they see what makes them money? And I say, yes. They see what doesn't make them money, which is why you're starting to see low stock warnings, like on the quarter scale Boba Fett's, which are now on waitlist, and the KX Enforcer droid that is going to soon go on waitlist, because they're out of the business now. They're out of the market of not making money and having things stay in stock so they can give discount codes on it. They are going to produce what makes them this. Figures from 1980 make them this. Bespin Lukes make them this. They're not just going to concentrate on the Mandalorian or this or that. They're going to concentrate on what makes them money, which is all of Star Wars. And let's go over what you're going to get here over these next several months for sure. And I'm going to pull these up onto the screen. And first, let me bring this up to further clarify my point. Remember this? They didn't do this to piss you off. They didn't do this to make me upset. They didn't do this so that we could say, ha, you're not putting it out. Because there are other companies right now that are coming up that are getting a lot of conversation. And rightfully so, like InArt, Queen Studios, other studios. Make no mistake about it, that in light of all of that and all that praise and all that anticipation, that Hot Toys will in no way not live up to their promises. This these two Inquisitors here, the fifth brother, the fourth sister, these Inquisitors are 1,000% coming because they said they're coming. They're going to live up to their word when it comes into this. And pulling this up onto the screen as well. This is the first wave of Attack of the Clones. And within 24 hours of dropping these bombs, one after the other, after the other, after the other, they said that get prepared, buckle up, brace yourselves to spill more coffee on a second wave. And they're not going to stop because of the Book of Boba Fett and the N1 Starfighter. They're not going to stop. And they need to fill up more pre-orders for 2023. And are they going to give us another wave? And I say, no. They're going to give us 2 more waves at least. You're going to get a lot of figures from the Attack of the Clones and forget about Revenge of the Sith. So hold steady, my friends, for they put this in here for a reason. Not so you could say another company is living up to their promises and we're not. They put this in here because they are putting out Mace Windu. And Mace Windu is going to be coming out very, very quickly. And I cannot wait to get this figure. And this isn't even one from the crypt. Because I guess this is a recent crypt, right? Here's one from the crypt. Again, just look at the sales of Han Solo. Just look at the sales of Leia. And just look at the sales of the aforementioned DX25 Bespin Luke. And just like you could calculate how long Han Solo, Bespin Han would be number 1, bestseller-wise on Sideshow. Sideshow and Hot Toys can also calculate how long this would be number 1. And you have to wonder, is it possible then that they're going to come out with this figure? And I say, buckle up. Because it's coming. And no, they don't have to concentrate on The Mandalorian. They have to concentrate on making money and on Star Wars, which is what this is. Especially if you try to get a Han, and it's $800 right now in the secondary market to get one. They are absolutely going to get a piece of that pie. You heard it here, and when they do it, don't forget to give the Dark Jedi here a shout out saying, you were right, Aries. You nailed this. And I'm nailing this too. Because this is another figure from the crypt. And Mighty Thor is just the tip of the iceberg until you start seeing not only this Padme, but quite possibly more Padmes than you are seeing Leia's at this point. Because she is an outfit machine from the prequel trilogy, The Phantom Menace, The Attack of the Clones, The Revenge of the Sith. Anything Padme is in, it is an absolute money-making machine. This Natalie Portman head sculpt will be. And they only got to make 300 a run. 1,000 a run. So believe me, by the time they're all done, they'll make 20,000 Padmes just with a bunch of different outfits. It's going to be coming. And I absolutely cannot wait. And here's another one from the crypt. And there's Padme behind him. Kit is coming. So's the Super Battle Droid. Coming. So's the Clone Wars Obi-Wan. And I hear some of you sometimes saying I'm losing faith. Stop losing faith. Stop. We've already got so many on pre-order. My goodness. You've already got so many in the secondary market. Stop. Take a breath. Have some coffee and chill out. Personally, between you and me, I don't care if they wait a year to put this out. Can use a break. It's not a problem. Don't need a break. It's okay. This is 1,000% coming, though. 1,000%. Let's go to another one here. Can't wait for this to be revealed. And this will be on every show in the community. But remember, I've been saying it's been coming for a long time. Many of us have been saying it's coming. But hold faith, it's coming. Um, so quickly, too. Baze Malbus, are you kidding me? Wow. And wouldn't you love to see this? Mm-mm-mm. A lot of healing's been going on when it comes to the sequel trilogy. A lot of healing. And you're already going to see Babu Frick in the from Rise of Skywalker going to be in The Mandalorian Season 3. And as we continue to spill our coffee with The Mandalorian Season 3, and with what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have in store, you're going to see figures like this. You see Neo from the latest Matrix movie come out. You're seeing characters come out where they only have to make 1,500, a few thousand a run. Makes you have to wonder about someone like Poe Dameron. And a lot of people are starting to get back into the sequel trilogy. And can they sell 2, 3, 4,000 of Poe Dameron? Yeah, they'll sell out of it real quick if that's all that they make. So I say yes. And do I think this is coming? And will they use Oscar Isaac's head sculpt for more stuff with the Disney franchise, with Disney itself? I say yes. This is absolutely coming. As are stuff like this, that's Death Star Gummer, absolutely coming. Not even a question about it in my mind. 212, forget about it. Every clone you could imagine, including this airborne trooper, absolutely, absolutely coming. Cannot wait. And remember, what have I been projecting forward since I started this channel? More and more announcements because of less and less production numbers with each announcement. So as companies like Sideshow continue to write purchase orders that have a less volume amount, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Remember with the headline last week that the Hot Toys wizard many, many years ago, disguised in the likeness of Sir Isaac Newton, said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. When companies like Sideshow have less orders on their purchase orders, the other companies, such as Hot Toys, find ways to recuperate that money, which is by coming out with different versions of the same figures, if you will, to be able to get more production out of it. And then some of these other companies like, okay, I'll buy that variant. I'll buy that blueberry strawberry flavor. I only want 4,000 of blueberry strawberry. Oh, well, wait, we got a new flavor, blackberry cherry. Okay, I'll take blackberry cherry too. But I'm only going to take this much. But wait, we got strawberry lemonade. Oh, okay, I'll take a little strawberry. I'll take some of that. Where if you were only going to get 10,000 of strawberry lemonade and you're only taking 3,000, now you're going to take 3,000 of blackberry cherry, and then 3,000 of this, and it still equals up and beyond. And this is in a way partly of what is going on with the market eclipse when it comes to the 6 scale community, when it comes to Hot Toys for sure. Which is why you're going to get, in one way, more announcements, but less production on them. And forget about everything that we have been covering on all the discount codes, which are absolutely insane. Insane right now. And you have to wonder if Hot Toys, if Sideshow wants to stop giving away figures that they've had in stock for over a year with 25% discounts or 50% discounts on. And I think that they do, which means they're going to order less. And typically all companies order less in a struggling economy, which is what we have right now globally. Struggling global economy. And when you put all of this together and add 2 plus 2 to equal 4, you could see that there's going to be less production on these figures, which is why the quarter scale Boba Fett's are on wait list, which is why the KX Enforcer droid is going to go on waitlist. And in my view, it doesn't even matter if it's a popular character or not a popular character. Boba Fett, the last time I checked, is one of the most popular characters ever. And he went on waitlist. And it doesn't matter about quarter scale, 6 scale, I don't care whatever scale it is. DX25 Bespin Luke, are you going to be able to wait for that to get on a bargain bin? And I say no. Any of the figures that came out that were announced in 2022, I believe is going to be a brand new era when it comes to these toys. Because just as so many channels, including mine, have suggested you can wait to buy these until they get in stock. You don't even have to buy them until they get in stock because sometimes they'll sit there and you get coupon codes. You can even wait once the coupon codes come out because sometimes they'll get more robust in the months to come or the next year. You don't think that these companies like Sideshow also can figure that out? Are also seeing that they're sitting on that? Can also see that they're losing money? And are trying to figure out a way not to do that in 2023, figure out a way not to do that in 2024? And I say, absolutely. Of course they're making concessions. Of course they're changing. And what is the opposite reaction? Hot Toys is changing, and they're going to pump out more. And that's exactly what you're going to see and what you're starting to see happening here within the secondary market. And absolutely, it is going to become, or I should say, is it possible that with many of these announcements for Star Wars, that it's going to become, forget about Brock Lesnar and Suplex City, but it's going to become Grail City? And I say, what you gonna do? Yes, absolutely, because it's going to be less. Look at what's happening right now with the Chrome plated Chrome Trooper. Look at what happened with the Rey and Dio. Look at what's happening with the Arena Suit Boba Fett. Is it going to happen with the KX Enforcer droid? With the quarter scale Boba Fett? If they do that with a figure like Cad Bane? Oh, well, they won't do that with Cad Bane. They won't do that with the Bespin Luke. Why? Why won't they do it? Oh, because it's a popular... But why won't they do it is what I'm asking you. Why won't they... They want to give away 25% off a year later? Well, no. Well, then, so they won't do it. And if Hot Toys is going to make a bunch more Lukes, just like how many Lokis are out there, how many Spider-Mans are out there, how many Iron Mans are out there. Oh, well, they're more popular than Darth Vader and Luke. Really? No, they're not. They're all the same. And Star Wars is hot. So you're going to get multiple Lukes like multiple Lokis. You're going to get multiple Boba Fett's and Mandalorians like Iron Man and Spider-Man. You just are. So they don't have to keep DX25 in there. They could run a small amount, fill up the pre-orders, they don't have stock, and then go ahead and put out the battle damage Bespin Luke, which they're 1,000% going to do. And then they don't have to order a ton of that because they're going to give you the Hoth Luke. And then they're going to give you another Return of the Jedi Luke. You know, I can't imagine them doing... Can you imagine them doing a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi and not even having the actual darn Jedi in the 40th anniversary packaging next year? You're going to get another Luke. You're going to get tons of Luke. And you're certainly going to get another Luke from the Mandoverse, aren't you? So you have to start looking out for this. They don't have to keep Lukes and Darths in stock because there's going to be a drought of Lukes and Darths. You're going to get Lukes and Darths out the wazoo. And Fett's up the wazoo. Believe me, the Arena Fett's not the first and last variant. You're going to get the prototype white Boba Fett. You're going to get this type of Boba Fett. You're going to get that type of Boba Fett. You're going to get Boba Fett from, the Mandalorian Season 3. You're going to get Boba Fett from the Ahsoka series. Every time you see Boba Fett, you're going to get a Boba Fett. Well, I don't want that Boba Fett. Well, they know that, so they're only going to make 3,000 of them, like that Arena Suit Boba Fett. And that's exactly the effect that I believe, anyway, that you're going to see happening over here. And I get just a little passionate about it. And of course, I could be all wrong about this. But I actually think that this is going to happen. And I think, as the Mandalorian would say, that this is the way for Hot Toys in the future. Keep an eye out hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel here. And keep an eye out here as we look to see what the next figures are going to be that are going to get a low stock warning, such as, is it going to be Cad Bane? Is it going to be the DX25? Bespin Luke? Is it going to be some of those figures? Is it going to be Reva? Is it going to happen with the Grand Inquisitor? I believe that we're going to get surprised. And it's a whole new world. Now, is it possible that they're just playing games and a companies play games and they're going to be like, ha-ha, it's back off there. You didn't have to do that. Sure, but that's a very short Band-Aid. That's putting a Band-Aid on a wound. And as prices continue to go up, it's no short-term fix. So if they're doing that for that, we're only going to buy it how many times, right? They're going to cry wolf how many times, and how many times are you going to fall for it? How many times am I going to fall for it? And then it's not going to mean anything when it goes on a wait list. So is it possible they're doing it? Yeah, I say about 50-50. Sure. I just think it's horrible marketing if that's the case. Because I wouldn't do it. But it's still possible it would happen. But I don't think that they're doing that. I think it's for real. I think it's a bad economy. I think you got to have your head up your arse if you don't think that this is a bad economy. And if you want to continue to just pump out more and keep them in stock, go ahead. But I can't believe that that's what's happening, because it just doesn't happen historically. And I don't believe it's happening now. For sure. Anyway, don't forget to bookmark 6 Scale Cantina. If you want some expanded thoughts and heightened analysis on everything that you saw here, you just may want to consider becoming a Cantina Insider. Look at the latest video for Cantina Insiders up here. Stockless. And you absolutely want to join the channel. Check that video out where I do an even deeper dive into what is going on and what the future holds when it comes to Star Wars Hot Toys. And they certainly don't want to. With figures like you're seeing there, the Blurg, and some of these figures that are $615, like you're seeing there with the Barca Speeder and all that stuff, don't want to sit on stock for a year, 2 years, 3 years with this. I believe that the future is going to be on pre-orders and new pre-orders that come out, not necessarily in the short term when it comes to having things in stock for sure. You absolutely go ahead and join the channel. You can just click on that little join button, see everything that it comes with. If you think you could benefit from it, you just may want to consider joining for sure. Next live show, and thank you so much for your support. Next show is going to be Monday night, baby. 6th Scale Raw with the Dark Jedi. A full panel in the house, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, coming up here this Monday. And what you gonna do with the Dark Jedi Aries Tarrington go 6 Scale Raw on you? What you gonna do? We're gonna spill some coffee, baby. We're gonna have a great panel in the house. We're gonna have a great discussion. I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy it from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.